What is happening, guys? Welcome back to Redbeard's Garage, and we got to have a little bit of backstory before getting into this video. We did this Swamp Rat engine build almost a year ago, and I did not have the footage of Braxton riding it. He went out on the lake, and the carb needed some more tuning. That Mikuni doesn't like, you have to set the Mikuni up for the angle it's on, if that makes any sense. I guess the way the floats work in a Mikuni versus a stock style carb. So he had little issues out of it. Then he broke a belt, making more horsepower, and this kit was not rated for this horsepower. So we got it, and I was getting a little aggravated. So I basically just said, get what you can, because he's actually getting rid of the boat. So that's why it took so long. My bad. I know you guys want to see what kind of horsepower it made after this build. It actually did really good. So we're going to jump into this footage that we took over a year ago, and then show it riding on the lake a little bit, and then we'll see you at the end of the video. So thank you guys for your patience and for understanding. So back to our original content. What is happening, guys? Welcome back to Redbeard's Garage, and today we got the old Mudskipper 7.5 horse. I don't think it makes 7.5 stock, but we got the Mudskipper 7.5. And we didn't dyno it before. Sorry, my bad, I was lazy. But now we're going to dyno it with the performance upgrades. We did a billet rod, billet flywheel, the short fin billet flywheel. Then we did was it a Fire 265 cam? I feel like it was. Yeah. Which is even hotter than the hot 265 cam. You can get hot without a fire, but when you get to fire, you imagine hot. So we got everything hooked up. We got our air fuel ratio, our wideband. We got head temperature, RPM, and we got air temperature on the air filter to see all those numbers. So those correlate with numbers that's on the dyno. So we're going to run it, a couple hard pulls. We're going to break her in real nice, and then we're going to do a pull and see what she makes. Then we're going to throw it on the boat, and Braxton and his buddies are going to take it out mud skipping on Swamp Rat. Look at Swamp Rat over there.
So cute.
That's classy son of a gun.
Swamp Bird.
So all right, let's get this thing started up on our Amsoil. Clovis lubricants.amsoil.com. Sign up. Dyno. Let's do it. All right, let's hear this son of a gun mud skip, baby.
A few moments later.
So what'd you say, Braxton?
Like double the horsepower out of the little motor, so you don't have the weight of the big block. Yeah. And you got double the horsepower.
Yeah, and I'd say we're making just about 30 to 40% more torque, but we doubled our horsepower for sure. We're talking about Shetland pony power. This is what are we talking? Tennessee Walkers. What kind of horsepower are we talking? But that's pretty impressive. We actually made half a horsepower more on the other run, but our header went loose. I got to build a brace for this header. We just added sound deadening to this, and man, what a difference that made.
That's crazy.
If you would have been in here before it sounded like death. This panel was this shaking much? I don't feel like it was. Before, it was flopping like a son of a gun. So now it's time to install this on the old Skip Motor 2000.
Take it for a rip snort.
I'm going to do one more pull after I do the header and stuff, and I'm going to change the oil and do Dominator racing oil in it before we put it on the boat. So let's get it put on that boat and go do some boat stuff.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we can see that this is the graph that Dyno made. We're making max torque around the 4,500 mark. It seems to be we can move this purple bar wherever we want it on the graphs. So green is torque, horsepower is the light blue, air fuel ratio is the dark blue. So our carb is tuned really good, and this is the way these carbs come from Go Power Sport. So you're going to be pretty good with their jetting in most, in most southern states. So we're making max torque at 4,600 RPM, but we're making our max horsepower at like 6,500 RPM. If you can see, you know, right here we're making 12.85 horsepower, which is quite a bit. So we're really making some power up there, but we revved the thing all the way to 7,000 RPMs, but it wasn't, we didn't need to. So what I think Braxton should do, if you go to 6,000 right here, we're at 12.25 horsepower. So if, in my opinion, I would put a governor coil, like a 6,000 RPM governor coil, so he can hold her to the wood at 6 grand and be getting maximum horsepower. Pretty much, we're losing about half a horsepower from that. But I think that's what I would do personally, is put a 6,000 RPM coil on it because of what he's using it for. We're going to be holding her wide open across water, where he's not holding the thing at, you know, I wouldn't hold a boat motor, one of these engines, even with a billet rod, at 6,000 RPM for a crazy amount of time, you know, because it's only a splash lubricated engine. So, but since we're making our max torque around 4,600 RPMs or so, I think he's going to be good with just running it like that with a 6,000 RPM limited coil. So that's what I'll probably do, is install that coil on there so he's limited to 6,000, because again, if he's revving the wood out of it, you know, he's not getting that much more. Half a horsepower. Half a horsepower ain't no joke, but so if we see it 6, yeah, he's getting a half a horsepower more, but you're not really going to tell that on the water. Torque's what's going to get you going in the boat. Horsepower is what's going to keep you going. So yeah, awesome numbers, and pretty pumped about these this dyno. I wish we would have dynoed it before, yes, but I'm worried that he could, you know, he's got a risk of breaking a belt even more now, double the horsepower. That's huge though. I mean, you could go, like Braxton was saying, you could go with a big block. A big block is more than double the weight of this engine, and the whole surface drive is more than double the weight probably. So I don't know, we're gonna see how this runs, and he might be good on this boat the way it is with this amount of horsepower. So let's get it installed.
Several days later.
What up with it? It's your boy Swole Body. We're putting in the rat. It's testing day for the rat, so we're gonna get hopefully a top speed on her, and then just get some footage of us just romping it around. All right, so we're just gonna give a configuration of the rat, what we've got it on so far right now. So we've got the Mudskipper, this 7.5 horse that we built on the rat, 1436 John boat, front deck, trolling motor, my Asian food, you know, the necessities. So, all right, let's get it started. All right, let's take her for a little rib tour.
Guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. What I think about building an engine for a Mudskipper engine like boat kit is I would not. So basically, if you had a Mudskipper kit, this thing was actually more reliable and just better all around being stock for the most part. I would, however, put a billet rod in it just for longevity. Like after you've rode the boat for a while, I think it'd be handy to put a billet rod in it. I think it would be handy to keep the stock carb, but put Go Power Sports jet and air filter kit on it. And exhaust, I would kind of rig up a quieter exhaust that flowed a little bit better than stock. But other than that, I don't think you should really mess with the engine. This is what we found out with this engine build. Braxton would break belts way more often. He only broke one belt before the engine build. After the engine build, he broke several belts. The prop, I don't really know how boats really break down. I would think that the prop is designed for the power that you're making. And that's what Mudskipper said too. He said, I don't know if my kit's going to handle this, because his kit was designed for what it was designed for. It's not like it has a lot of headroom. So we would probably need to upgrade the prop to really make it perform, because we saw absolutely no horsepower difference, or top speed difference. It did 13 miles per hour with the performance kit and without it. Did it get up there a little bit better? Probably, but I don't think Braxton was adjusting the angle of his engine, the trim of his engine properly. So I think that was holding him back. So we really don't know what this kit would have done. So unfortunately, Braxton traded the boat off. Actually, it's not unfortunate. It's a freaking sweet come up. Braxton got a heck of a deal on a 150 horse bass boat. A guy traded him straight up. So we pulled the build engine off of this kit, and we slapped on a stock electric start engine for the guy that's getting it, because we knew he was going to break belts with this kit. But I think these Mudskipper engine kits are absolutely awesome. They're super easy to work on. Even changing the belt's not that big of a deal, as long as you're, of course, not in the water. Of course, we've linked everything down below. The Go Power Sports kit, the engine ran great. It revved up. It didn't bog as much. So I think the performance kit did do a lot for it. But I think you should stick around the stock carb stuff. That was another problem. This was Braxton's boat, not mine. So I had to work around Braxton's schedule and all this stuff. And he's in college now, a few towns away. So it was hard to get content on it. And so this time around, Mudskipper sent their big block kit, and I got me a boat. I got me a 14-foot boat. She's a freaking pristine gem. So I can't wait to do that build next week. We're starting it. And we got a lot of cool stuff going into my boat, and then hopefully we'll later do a V-twin set on it. Make sure to check out the links in the video description. All the Go Power Sports parts are down there, and stuff that we even didn't use that I would recommend using on this boat kit. Of course, the boat kit, Amsoil links are down there if you want to support Clovis Lubricants, because he did supply the dyno to be able to do this content for you guys. So let me know what you thought about this video. I know there wasn't as much riding, but Braxton was basically trying to get the ride over to trade his boat off, and it is what it is. So we'll see you on the next build, where we do a big block on my own kit. So thank you guys for watching. We love you, and God bless.